Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and welcome back to my channel. As most of you will know, I have been lucky enough to go to Japan twice now. I went to Tokyo in the spring of 2016 and also I went during spring of last year, and during that time I have definitely certainly drawn a list in my head of the things that I love and dislike, as hate is a very strong word, about Japan the most. Now, I've made a little list in my very awesome new sparkly notebook here. Now, bearing in mind, these are things that I like and dislike when considering that I am a foreigner staying in Japan for a short period of time. Both times I was in Japan for about 10 or 11 days maximum, and obviously these things will change and vary depending on if you live in Japan or not. Like, obviously if you live somewhere, there are going to be lots of different factors and things that you may like or dislike about a country. So yes, these are things just based on purely of me staying there for a couple of weeks at a time, but I think I've spent enough time there to certainly gauge what I like and don't like so much about the country. So yeah, I've got my little awesome notebook here featuring some awesome pushing stickers. One stuck to my finger. So yeah, okay. Certainly the list of likes is thankfully a lot more than dislikes, obviously. So I'm going to start with the long list of the things that I loved about Japan. Yeah, I decided to write it down just because my head is always a mess, and whenever I sit down to film, everything just goes out my head, so it is much more convenient just to have it there. So obviously if I glance down, that is why. So firstly, one of the most novelty things that I love about Japan is the heated toilet seats. If you don't know, Japan has a thing of having literally like electronic and heated toilet seats. Not all houses, I believe, will have the luxury of these. Certainly a lot of older buildings won't, but certainly in things like hotels, toilets and like public places, that you will most certainly find some kind of like electronic toilet, and they all have, or most of them will have heated toilet seats, which is honestly, it's so nice. One of the things I hate most, like going out in a public toilet, is just sitting on a freezing seat. It's not pleasant. But yeah, a lot of toilets in Japan, as well as having a heated seat, they will also have like a button, like control panel to the side, and on that you can often control things like the kinds of flushes. You make the toilet even make noises if you're scared to like actually go in public. You can make noises so you don't feel so awkward if it's like really quiet. And you can also have a bum spray. Yes, Japan is well known for that. It's called a bidet, I believe. But yeah, if you feel like you need a bit of an extra clean down there, then that is an option. I have to say, I've never actually used it myself. I was always a bit scared, but it's certainly a nice, cool thing, and it's a very novelty thing to have whenever I go there. And also some of them will like automatically flush when you get up. I know my hotel had that. It was so cool. It's just like, oh, I don't even have to press a button. This is amazing. Please UK, why can't we have this? Next thing I loved about Japan is very like convenient. Everywhere I turned, every corner, there was a vending machine. Every like street corner, or on every street, not every street, but like you didn't have to walk far before you found some kind of like Family Mart or 7-Eleven, just some kind of like convenience store, like if you needed a drink or anything. I mean, 7-Elevens, yes, apologies, there is some kind of work going on next door, so if you can hear some kind of noises, then I'm very sorry, but I really wanted to film today. It's actually not dark as hell, so I decided to film. Japan is just the king of being convenient. There is a 7-Eleven, as I just said, like everywhere. There was one in my hotel, so it was so cool. I could just go down in the morning, buy some food for breakfast or anything, and you know, that was awesome. And there was even like one across the street and one like 20 yards up, so I had plenty of choice. And also, like I mentioned, they also have a lot of vending machines, which is great because, you know, a lot of the times when you're just out somewhere, like, and there may not be like a shop where you need to buy a drink or something, but this will come and save you, especially in the summer, as summer in Japan is absolute hell. It's so humid and hot, like it's horrible. I would advise going then. But yeah, Japan definitely knows how to do convenience. The next point I have written down is the fact that public transport is actually on time. Like, oh my god, you have no idea how happy that makes me. Obviously I live in London and mainly we get around by buses and trains, and it's just such a bad service. Like, the local bus that I have to get, it's normally like, it's never on time. I know it's obviously subject to things like traffic, but you would think things like train would mainly be on time here, but they're not. There's always delays, there's always cancellations, there's always something, or like train works, just something that always has to disrupt your journey, and it's just not fun, it's stressful, and it's just, yeah, I just hate it, and it makes me not want to go anywhere because I know that there's probably going to be some kind of delay. But the thing is with Japan is their trains are like on time to the second, and I mean, if they're delayed, it's like, it's literally not anything that's gonna severely disrupt your journey and make you super late. And even if you are late, then sometimes train companies have even been known to give you like cards to explain why you're late. It's just, why can't that be a thing in this country? Like, it's just, if there is a timetable, you've got to stick to it. And you know, if other trains are late, then that can kind of cause like a domino effect. But I mean, here the thing is, if there are delays and disruptions, you don't always get a reason, and you're often just left like hanging about or waiting for some announcement, wondering when the next train is going to be. But if there are delays in Japan, then you'll get an announcement straight away on the platform. They'll tell you why. Like, there'll even be like little announcements being shown on the train, as there are often like little screens up above either side of the doors, and it's just good to be informed and to know what is going on, and I respect you for that, Japan. The next thing is a bit of like a fun and novelty thing, but for me personally, I love Japan just for the fact that there are things like Pokemon centers and like different pop culture stores, and obviously things like Harajuku, and they just have everything that I love here. And it's just so accessible and easy to buy all the things that I want to buy without having to have like custom fees or massive shipping imports. And it's just like, I know even if I lived in Japan, like the whole novelty would probably wear off, or I don't know really, but it's just I don't know how to say. Yeah, obviously I would adore to have a thing like a Pokemon center in this country, but sadly I don't think it's ever gonna come over here because it's just not really something that would ever pop up in the UK. But yes, one thing I would always love about Japan is being able to take a trip to things like the Pokemon Center and go shopping in Harajuku, and I look forward to the day when I can do that again. The next thing on my list is another sort of like novelty thing. Obviously the food in Japan is very different, and obviously it's not to everyone's taste. I do have some difficulty in the fact that I'm a vegetarian, so there obviously isn't always vegetarian options. They are like pretty good, and there are some awesome vegan restaurants that I found, but it does take a bit of hunting around, and I have mistakenly eaten like meat before, which is probably a bad thing on my part, and I should probably have actually known when I was ordering and probably done a little bit of Google translating. But regardless, in Starbucks in Japan, they just have so many cool like novelty items that we don't have here, including tea lattes. I'm a massive tea drinker. I also love things like cappuccinos and lattes, and combined it's just like heaven. And I don't know why, but why can't we have tea lattes? It's not that weird. Like, if you're watching Starbucks UK, which you're probably not, please give us tea lattes. One massive thing that I really adore about Japan is their like customer service. They will go above and beyond for you, literally. Like, if you are in a shop, obviously the common thing is to be greeted upon when you're entering a shop. Sometimes the store owners will bow, often they'll bow upon leaving, and if it's quite an expensive store or like an independent shop, they'll often like walk you to the door and bow you out. And as much as it's awkward, it's really nice to know that they really value you as a customer, and they value you coming in, taking time to browse around your shop and purchase an item. And I think that's so nice. Like, the customer service in the UK, it's pretty awful most of the time, to be honest. Like, often you'll get served by somebody like, I know working retail is not pleasant, but it's like a two-way thing really. So that's something that I really try not to take for granted when I'm in Japan. And also small things like they'll tape up your bags with like a little piece of tape when you leave, so then like your shopping bag doesn't fly open and things don't fall out, things like that are really nice and appreciated. And also I have a little story. Once when I was in a restaurant in Japan and I mentioned to my waiter that I was cold, the manager came over and bought me a blanket. Yeah, he bought me a blanket. Like, what? Like, I don't know, I just briefly mentioned it was a bit chilly, and like they came and brought me a blanket, and I thought that was so sweet, and it really shows how much they like value everybody, and you're not just a customer, like you are an actual person, and it shows how much they care and how much they really want to do their best. And that's just the thing, like in Japan, you don't, whenever you're serving any kind of customer service, like no one's ever rude to you, and even like even if they're probably having a bad day, they always do things with a smile, and they always seem like really happy to serve you. It's just nice. It's just nice to feel like you're not being an annoyance for once. So thank you, Japan. I have a couple more points on the things that I love the most. The first one being is that Japan is just very, very clean. It's just very clean everywhere. There is no like graffiti or trash anywhere. It's just nice and clean. Often when you walk into a toilet, it's clean again. Sometimes the train toilets can be a bit iffy, but you know, it's always going to be like that. But yeah, it's just nice not seeing a bunch of crap all over the floor and graffiti all over the buildings. I'm looking at you, London. And the last thing, the main point on the things that I love about Japan the most, to be honest, I could probably list a whole more, but these are like the main big things. Now, I am obviously a woman, obviously living in London. It's known that it's not always super safe to walk around at night on your own, and I wouldn't personally do it anyway, just because I'm quite an anxious and paranoid person, even when I'm out during the day on my own. But Japan is well known to be very, very safe in comparison to a lot of countries, and I definitely did feel safe walking around alone. I did have like one weird dodgy encounter, but that's probably because I was in the Shinjuku red light district. Definitely, like, it's well known that it is okay to walk around alone as a female at night on your own, and I just think it's nice to be able to feel safe in your own area, not like you're gonna get freaking mugged or attacked or something by some weirdo, and knowing that you do have the freedom to go out at night when you please. You don't have to like bring a friend, and it's just nice knowing that you feel safe, and it just gives you a really good peace of mind. So that's one thing that I really wish was the thing about this country. And also, like, you can literally leave your bag on the table and like no one's gonna touch it. Like, you do that here, you're not gonna see that again. But now you can leave it on a cafe table, go and order your food, nobody is going to touch it, and I really wish that that was the same in every single country. We're going to go on to a few things that I dislike about Japan. Firstly being is it's very, very crowded, especially if you are living or you're going to visit Tokyo. Be prepared for the crowds. Like, I already knew this from my previous trip, but I went on my own last year, and my god, it's not pleasant having anxiety and things like that, especially on the trains during rush hour in Tokyo. And I stupidly went during Golden Week, don't know why. It's so busy and it's just not pleasant. Quite often you'll be on the train and you'll literally feel like a pack of sardines, just like this, and you have to like fight your way off the train, and it's just not nice. And I know trains can get busy here in the UK, but trust me, it's nothing like what it is in Japan. And often like main busy shopping areas is just very busy, and it's just, yeah, there was just so many times where I just felt super anxious and overwhelmed because of the amount of people. But I know that's obviously what you're gonna get from being in a big city like Tokyo. Something else I disliked about Japan, kind of relating onto the business, is there is a thing called upskirting, and quite often, well, there have been tales of people often being grouped on the trains and things like that. That's thankfully not ever happened to me, but it's definitely something to be wary about and to think about if you're going to Japan. Definitely, obviously that's not really a thing in this country, but yeah, that's definitely not something that's very pleasant to experience. One other thing that kind of bugs me about Japan is there are no bins. I wonder how the country stays so clean, but there are no bins anywhere. I think it's, I did know the reason of this once, and if you do know the reason why there is a lack of bins, then please tell me in the comments. But yeah, there's just no bins, and it's just super annoying when you've got like your Starbucks cup and like you don't know where to put it and you have to put it in your bag, and it's just annoying that there are no bins anywhere to put your rubbish. And one last thing that I dislike about Japan, and this point isn't so much focusing on what it's like to stay there in Japan or to go on a trip there, but it's not a secret that Japan has very high suicide rates, and this is something that really does stop me from wanting to live and work in Japan. It's just their whole work ethic really, and it's not a secret that workers in Japan are often overworked. They often do like a lot of overtime, and they just have very like intense work lives, and I really do feel for them. I suffer and have suffered with like suicidal thoughts and that stuff in the past, so I know what it's like, and it can't be nice to have to feel like you're being trapped by your working life and feel like there is no way out. And like, workers have been known to be literally overworked to death. I do wonder how it is still allowed to take place still. I think it's just ridiculous. Like, we are all human. Yeah, it's just a crazy thought to me, and it really does make me sad to feel like a lot of workers are like literally pushed to the thought of suicide because of how they're treated by like their companies and stuff like that. That just about covers it for all the things that I love and dislike about Japan. As I said, there's probably a lot more that I could add to this list, but this video will literally be like an hour long then. So I thought I would just keep to the main points. Tell me down below in the comments if you've been to Japan yourself, what you love and dislike about the country. Other than that, I hope you're all having a wonderful week. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.